Yes, hello. So I'm Adriaan de Jongh. I don't need to tell you all that Godot is pretty good, but there's some stuff that needs to be fixed, improved. There's the occasional missing feature. And when I started making Godot, and after a year of working on a game in Godot myself, I started to ask myself, how can I help? How can I make features happen? How can I make bugs go away? I cannot write C++. I've never written a line of C++ in my life. I'm entirely at the mercy of contributors. And yet, over the last year, I've actually felt that I've been able to contribute in various ways. And I think those ways is also in the way that you can contribute. I won't lie though, I have a bit more street cred than the average Godot user. I've made a few successful games, among them Hidden Folks, most recently Riff, and that has given my voice a little bit more weight within the contributor pool. However, I've also been increasingly more involved with engine development and have been part of the contributor pool as a usability contributor, where I'm very hands-on, and I don't feel like it really matters much that I've made a bunch of games. What seems to matter more is doing the actual work. So I think the foundation is going to hate me for saying this, but I think there's very little priority management happening in the development of Godot. In my experience, here's what stands out and what has the best chance of being worked on, both by contractors hired by the foundation or by people just random from the internet, which is small PRs or small issues, clear issues or small or clear PRs, exciting things with a high severity, things that are contributors get constantly reminded of, and also things that are brought to contributors that are friendly and considerate. Anything that isn't any of these things, you'll have to fight a little bit more for, which could mean making it smaller, helping design a feature, literally maybe wireframing or making little mock-ups, clearly showing contributors what isn't possible or what will be possible when you get them excited. When you, if you show them what's possible, maybe they will get excited. Show that there's also a demand for fixes or features. You help resurface it. You ping them on Rocket Chat for an issue that you're running into. But also engaging in conversations on the issues or the proposals about the blockers, the possibilities, ways going forward. Maybe you could even, if you're really excited, attend the online meetings that are happening between the Godot contributors. And sometimes maybe even take a little step back, find another way to be friendly, to really take on the perspective of a Godot contributor, because there's a lot of perspectives they have to balance. So anyway, let's get a little bit more specific here. How can you move the needle? I think there is, generally speaking, 4 ways to go about it. To make your game, make really good issue reports, make really good proposals, and help out with PRs. Godot contributors are not looking to make the best engine ever. The engine best at everything ever in existence. There's a general consensus among contributors that features and issues that need to be fixed have to stem from real world use cases. So yeah, make your game and genuinely run into the things that you want changed about Godot. I think that's a really good starting point, and contributors will recognize that. So that gives you and engine developers a much clearer direction. So about issue reports, because I think also being a contributor myself, we get it. You want your issues to just be fixed, but hear me out for a second. Someone will actually have to go and fix it, probably in their spare time. And for that, they need to be able to reproduce it. They need to understand the issue and then spend time actually fixing it. Personally, I can barely stand folks who complain about issues with Godot on social media and then fail to make even issue report at all. It's open source software. What does that mean? You cannot expect issues to disappear magically. I think by using open source software, you are also almost inherently part of this community. And when you come across something that you want to get fixed, you have to engage. And the way that you can do that is, first of all, go to GitHub, the Godot GitHub, search for the issues. If there's nothing there yet, you make a new issue. If there already is someone else who reported the issue, contribute to the issue by giving some emojis at the top always helps to show that there's activity, and also comment on it. Maybe you can say that you're also seeing it, maybe on a different platform, add additional information. Those are the kinds of things that really help pinpointing issues. And like I said, any activity on any issue in the Godot repository really gives contributors an indication of how widespread or severe an issue is, and that's really going to put a little bit more pressure on contributors to see if they can fix it. And the Godot Foundation might hire people specifically to fix the issues if there's a lot of activity on them. So, among other things, I think a good issue report has the Godot version pinpointed. It has clear reproducible steps. It has a reproducible project. In my experience, a lot of issues, if you want those fixed, you have to go into Rocket Chat in the right channel there, say, hey, I'm running into this issue. Maybe someone knows what's going on here. And if you do that only once, it might not get fixed. If you do it 10 times over the span of a couple of weeks, it might actually get fixed. I'm not saying that that's always what you have to do, but I've seen that that's often how things can go. And I think it's also very helpful if you can show that there is players that are running into this. So if you have a game out, that's also really going to help your case. If you can say, well, I mean, some games have Sentry, for instance, installed. It gives them stack traces for crashes that are happening with players. You can see, over the last 1,000 plays, 10 users actually ran into this problem. That's the kind of information that makes it very clear, okay, that's a significant amount of people. The Godot Foundation will take an issue like that very seriously. So, clear severity. Let's talk a little bit about good proposals. Often, actually, implementing a feature requires making dozens or hundreds of these smaller design and architecture decisions. Contributors know this, and it is a fairly taxing process. The more you can take out of their hands, the better. So if you want a PR to get featured, I found that it helps a lot to make really dumb mockups. Just quick and dirty, can be in Paint. Nobody cares. Maybe can be in Godot using control nodes. That's often what I do. It also really helps to actually brainstorm for suggestions. I see a lot of comments on PRs and proposals that are something along the lines of, I don't like this, full stop, or this doesn't work for me or for my workflow, full stop. It's not very productive and not very constructive. It's much better to at least attempt to understand why this person wants this thing improved and see if there's a sort of common ground that you can find. It also helps, in my experience, if once you have made a proposal, to ask people for quick feedback. That can be other contributors, it can be randos in social media, but just getting a bunch of ideas from other people is, at the end of the line, probably going to make the thing better. And of course, the activity on the proposal itself is going to help a lot. And if applicable, help figure out naming stuff. There's so often this bike shedding moment where the feature is basically complete, but then everyone's like, oh, it should be named blah blah A, and then someone's, oh, blah blah B is better, and that period can take weeks. It's ridiculous. So it's nice if a proposal can already contain that kind of information. And then finally, Godot contributors, they try to of course, represent the voice of the engine, which is a very wide context. And from that perspective, and from the perspective of contributing in general, it's a very complex process. And understanding and showing an understanding of that process, I think, also really helps that. Now, the final big one, PRs. Like, if someone actually makes a feature, has a clear strategy on it, has a specific implementation, there's a lot of things that you can do to help out. In short, because I have 1 minute, PRs are generally not approved with at least 2 member approvals. Members are the people who have already shown that they've done a lot of Godot contributions. But PR reviews is a huge bottleneck. So how can you help them? Well, you can actually go to a PR, you can download the binary that only specifically includes that feature that is proposed by the PR. This is if you go to GitHub, there's a checks tab, you can go to artifacts, and you can download the editor with the PR with that specific version, and you can try the feature yourself, scrutinize away, test it thoroughly, leave comments with what's still broken, what still needs to be done, what you think of the feature. And if the author of the PR can go through that whole process before Godot contributors do their review, they already can see that there's been significant iterations in the process, and it's going to speed up actually implementing a feature like that. It's such a trivial thing to do, yet I see very little people who actually care about a PR to actually doing it. So I highly recommend, if there are PRs on GitHub that you're excited about, that add features that you want, make sure that you go there and test them. That's it. Happy contributing. Find me in Blue Sky.